Welcome back to another video of writing book 4 of my podcast as a novel. I'm Colton Woods. I'm the creator of Strange Trails, a full cast audio drama in the style of serial. It's available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to season 1. This channel is me working towards season 2 and writing the novelizations of each of the seasons so that as future seasons come out, there is a book to come out along with it that will have, maybe additional details and stuff like that hopefully people will enjoy as a slightly different experience to the same story. So I have a little bit of a confession to make. Where we left off in the last video, I had finished chapter 4 and was about to start chapter 5. I did end up already starting chapter 5. I'm 2,000 words into chapter 5, so good news in some senses, but yeah, we're going to be picking up from there and seeing how far we can get tonight. It's about 9 p.m. I just got home from work, so the goal is to do about 15 to 18 pages tonight. If I can get somewhere in that range, that'll be on track to potentially actually finish chapter 5 tomorrow, because chapter 5 is one of the shorter ones. It's 56 pages, so hopefully it's completable in the next couple days. For sure, over the weekend, I should be able to finish it, though, again, barring any weird circumstances from coming up. But also, what I really want to do after I finish writing tonight is finish season 1 of Heated Rivalry. I'm up to episode 4. I've got 2 episodes left, and I just know it's gonna fuck me up. I know it's going to. And this always happens when I watch, I don't seek out romance stuff, but there have been shows that I've watched that have just sort of been really popular and in the zeitgeist. And so I've followed through and watched them. Heartstopper being one of them. Young Royals. I fucking loved Young Royals. Young Royals is something you'll probably hear a little bit about. Young Royals as I start planning out season 6, because where I thought that show was going ended up inspiring the arc that is leading to season 6. So I'm sure I'll get into it when we're planning that out. But there's Elite, which for the first few seasons of it had amazing romance storylines built into the story. And, I was there for the mystery, but I stuck around for the romance stories. It's not something I seek out, but it really, really, kept me there. And at the end of every single season of any of these shows, it just left me feeling hollow inside. I felt gutted. Even when there was a happy ending, the show ends and you feel like my friends are gone, And I don't really know why that happens with these types of shows, because it doesn't happen when I'm watching, some other type of thing. I don't watch Severance and then, get to the end of that and be like, oh man, I really wish I could, go back and re-experience that with it's something about the group dynamic of not only the 2 main characters, but also their friend circle. It ropes me in a different way. And it feels like I lose them when the season ends or when the show ends. I can already tell, having 2 episodes left of Heated Rivalry, I can already tell the same thing is going to happen again. I just know that that's going to happen. So I'm trying to mentally prepare for it, but I also can't not watch those episodes. It's not like I can be like, oh, well, I just simply won't watch the episodes and then it never ends and I don't feel lost. I want to know what happens. I want to know what's going on with it. And so this is the type of thing where it's if I'm debating writing a romance story, is that going to happen? Is that going to happen to me? Or because this is me just going in and experience a few hours of a story that somebody else wrote. But if I'm spending months or potentially years working on this and being with these characters and stuff, what happens when it ends? How will I feel when it ends? That's maybe not something I should be concerned with right now, since I am not even sure I'm going to do this. But it is somewhere in the back of my mind, because I can't name a single show about Generation on HBO, Heartbreak High on Netflix. There's so many different shows out there that something about it's the ensemble cast aspect of it that is definitely part of it, but also the romance there, where it's I wish I could have that, and you're never going to. It's not real. It's it's a very heightened and idealized version of whatever. Love, Victor. There's just the list just goes on and on. There are so many shows. Every single one of them, when the season ended and then inevitably when the show ended, you just feel empty afterward, or at least I do. I don't know why. And um, so all this to say, I don't know where I'm going with that. That's a feeling that I've had, and it made me genuinely think like maybe these shows aren't good for my mental health. Like, are they bad for me? Question mark. Because I don't think I should feel this dead inside afterward, right? Like that's not normal. But that's just how it seems to work out. So, uh, yeah. Anyway, I have like 15 to 18-ish pages that I got to get to. So we can pontificate on this a little bit later after I've actually watched the episodes. But yeah, let's get to tippity typing. Again, another day has passed, and I did not get to finish Heated Rivalry last night. I ended up just writing the whole night. You could probably have guessed that, because that's all that ever happens. Is I always put the writing first, and I cannot relax until I hit my goal for the day. And my goal for the day yesterday was to get to page 32, which is about halfway through the episode. Because then that would put me in a position today to potentially be able to finish the episode. And once I have that goal in mind, I can't let it go. I have to hit it. So I ended up writing most of the night, and by the time I actually ended up, reaching page 32, I was like tapped out. I was going to be too tired. I wasn't going to be able to focus watching the show, so I just ended up going to bed. So that means tonight I am watching the show. This is happening tonight. So luckily I'm off today, so I can just do all my writing really early in the day. Hopefully finish chapter 5 today. That would be pretty cool. And when I say hopefully, I mean like I'm gonna go until I finish chapter 5 so that tomorrow I can start chapter 6. That's the goal today. Finish chapter 5 and finish Heated Rivalry, because I need to get to the end of this. I need to know where things go. Not that the plot is that important, but I want to be with these characters. I want to see them. So yeah, let's get to that. Chapter 5 is done. We're done. It's over. I did it. So I ended up writing 5,200 words today, which is just like an insane amount of words. But not only that, it's only 3 p.m. right now. I started writing at noon. I wrote all of that in 3 hours. So like sometimes you're just like, you're in the flow. It's kind of crazy. So that's where we're at right now. The book itself is sitting at just over 65,600 words. That's like a full-length novel at this, like on its own, and I still have 5 more chapters to go. So I'm halfway through the story for sure. I don't know if I'm halfway through the book, because I know that the finale is like a lot longer than most of the other chapters. So I think I'm almost halfway through the book itself. But with it being only 3 p.m., that means I have the rest of today. Now that I've done the work that I wanted to get done today, I wrote 20 something or other pages, I can read. I can work out. I might go work out. Maybe I'll do that. I haven't done that in weeks because every increment of my free time has been taken up by other projects. So maybe I'll do that. And then I will watch Heated Rivalry. I'm going to save that for tonight, but I'm definitely watching that today. I'm so excited. This is a good day. And I still have tomorrow too. I'm going to be doing rowing today. I never rowed before, but my parents had this machine when I moved back home, and I've tried using it, and I'm like, it's actually a really good workout. Turns out it actually works like 90% of the muscles in your body or something, plus cardio. So it's pretty crazy. So I've kind of taken to doing this because you could do like 10 minutes or 20 minutes of this and feel like, oh yeah, that was a workout. And then usually I'll do like, I like using Apple Fitness Plus. So I'll watch a rowing workout, and then I'll do a weighted exercise, like a strength workout. And then sometimes I do HIIT, but not too often, because usually this is like enough cardio for me. But yeah, I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna get started. Let's get strong.
My name is Anya.
Fucking wiped. Oh my god. 2015 meters, hell yeah. I don't know if that's good, but that's the most I've ever done in 10 minutes. So I'll take it. Oh my god. I really do like rowing. I feel like as a kid, I always had to do all these sports that I didn't want to do. Like, I had to play baseball, I had to play basketball. I played soccer. I actually liked soccer. I did track and field, but it stressed me out. The starting gun, I was always afraid it would go off and I wouldn't react soon enough. And when you're doing like a 100-meter race, you have to react instantly without starting before the pistol, and which would just be embarrassing because everyone would see you go too fast, go too soon. So, but I feel like, so because I never really liked sports, I didn't really work out or anything. I just existed, watched TV and stuff, and then I got all the way through college, and at the end of college, that was when I finally bought a set of weights and started to actually focus on working out. Sometimes, still never like fully focus on it, but I'm wondering if I had something like this, if I had a rowing machine here, or if there was like a rowing club, which I don't know where I would even find something like that. But if something like that had happened and I'd found this specific type of exercise earlier on, I probably would have worked out a lot sooner. I probably would have worked out in high school. Because it feels so easy compared to like, oh, I have to learn all these different types of exercise. I have to use these different levels of weight for, if I'm doing squats or if I'm doing bicep curls or if I'm doing shoulder presses and stuff. Whereas with rowing, it's just based on how hard you pull it. That's the workout. And I think that it genuinely would have changed the way that my, fitness journey went, which, not that I think that I'm in like bad shape or anything. I just think that I'm not as far along as I could be. And I think that if I had seen progress earlier on, I would have focused on it earlier on. I think a big part about goals and stuff is you have to see progress on them. And when you're first starting out with working out, you really don't see that progress. You just feel sore afterward, and you're told that means you're making progress. But that's not like, until you can like see the biceps come in, you don't really feel anything, until you see the abs, you don't really feel anything. Or until you see, coming from the opposite direction. I was coming from like extremely skinny, twig thin, constantly getting comments from people about how skinny I was. There are other people coming from the other direction where like, until you really start seeing the weight go away, you just don't feel inspired to continue with it. You have to find that motivation in yourself, and that's not easy to do when there are other things that you enjoy doing that you feel like you're better at. That could be taking your time. Like, for instance, writing with me, telling stories and stuff. That's usually the thing that I focus on, even though I know and I want to find time to do things like this, like work out. But it's just not easy to prioritize it with the amount of time that I have and the amount of stuff that I want to get done on the thing that I know that I can do successfully. So it wasn't really until the pandemic started and I did P90X. I did all 90 days of P90X all the way through. That was when I like actually genuinely saw the difference, and it happened over the course of just 3 months. So it happened pretty quickly. And because I was working on it every single day, you really do start to see those differences right away. So I guess not to like be advice guy, but like you really have to stick with whatever your goal is, and just kind of trust the process. God, that's so cliche, but like really you do. You have to just sort of be like, I know that if I do work out, I will have results, even if I don't see them right away. I know that if I do write, I know that if I do work on this project, I will get to the end of it, even if I don't get there right away. And that's, I don't know. I think it's just the same mentality. But, okay, I think I've rested enough. I'm probably going to do another, actual, strength workout now. So, because the one thing that rowing does not work, the one muscle group that rowing does not work out of your entire body is your chest. It's kind of crazy, but I guess apparently that's like the one spot that doesn't get hit. So I got to do something to make up for that. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble. Don't feel quite as tired. My arms are tired, but I don't feel like out of breath like I did with the rowing. That also didn't really do any real big chest exercises, so I'm gonna continue. Oh my god. Okay, so I just did 100 bench presses with progressively lighter weight because I was not going to be able to do that same weight the entire way through. I was going to die. But yeah, so we got 10 minutes of rowing, 10 minutes of strength workout, and then, I don't know, 15 minutes of me bench pressing 100 times, which is that's a pretty intense workout for me. I don't usually do that much. Usually I'll just do the rowing and the strength workout and kind of call it there. But something was pushing me today to go do it. And is it some level of hey, you finally have time to work out. You haven't had a chance to do that in a few weeks. So take advantage of it. I think there's part of that, but there's this other part. And I was thinking about this while I was doing this. I was like, why am I pushing myself so hard with this when I don't normally do this? And I have to think it has something to do with the fucking show, the romance show. Heated Rivalry, because it's about these characters who are, they're literally Olympians in the show at peak physical condition, basically, which fine. And the actors, obviously one of the beautiful people. I'm not one of the beautiful people. I will never be one of the beautiful people, but I can maybe be one of the fit people, maybe I can get a little closer to that ideal. I'm wondering if that's what's going through my head, the lizard brain in my head that is striving toward this, physicality that I don't currently have, is because I'm watching that show and I'm seeing these beautiful people have this life that they want. I can't attain all of those aspects, but one aspect that I can do, one thing I can control, is working out and being in good shape. Is that really it? Is that what's happening to me? Am I being led by the show to want to be in better shape so that some part of me that doesn't understand that it's just a show can potentially have a shot at the romance that isn't going to happen there? It's not going to happen, and I'm not even looking for it to happen, and yet some part of me wants it. Some part of me is damn, I wish I could have that. I wish. And maybe, just maybe, if I looked like them, it could happen, even though it's not real. None of it's real. It's all scripted. It's made up. It's fake. I'm still okay, but what if? And that's so stupid. But then again, on the flip side of that, it's is it a bad thing to work out? Is it a bad thing to push yourself to work out? And if this is what motivates you, then, go for it. Working out and writing are actually both very similar in that I very rarely enjoy the actual process, but I love having done it. You know, I love having written, I love having worked out, I love how I feel right now, and I love how, you know, after I finish writing a chapter or whatever, I can like check that whole section of the book off. Like, it's so nice. I guess I'm saying it's okay to chase some fantasy, even if it's not going to happen, if it's going to improve your life in the process. You know, I would love to be an author, a published author that people read, that people know about, and, you know, get excited about when my books are going to come out and stuff. Will that happen? I don't know. But if dreaming of that is what's driving me to do this, and is driving me to be, you know, disciplined about taking care of these things and focused on working toward that, then, you know, maybe that's not such a bad thing. If some part of me wants to have a romance with a Russian hockey player or whatever, that is not going to happen, that I'm not even, like, I wouldn't even actually be interested in that type of person. If that part of me wants that, and it's going to make me work out more and, like, you know, get built, whatever, then sure, let's go for it. You know, like, who's it hurting in the process? I think it's just improving me, physically speaking, as long as I don't, like, injure myself with a weight or going too hard, you know, like, I don't see a downside to it. So anyway, that's my workout. Those are my thoughts. I'll see you when I'm back upstairs, probably tomorrow after I've finished Heated Rivalry and I feel like dead inside. I'm still mentally preparing for it. I know it's going to happen. I fucking know it's going to happen. Okay. It's later in the day. First update, actually exciting, is I realized, I highlighted all the words that I'd written yesterday and earlier today, and realized that I'd written 9,600 words. So I wrote 400 more. I started chapter 6, wrote 400 words of chapter 6, just so that I could say I wrote 10,000 words in 24 hours. I wrote 10,000 words in 24 hours. That's insane. Did I not say in a different video that one of my goals was, like, to potentially do 10,000 words in a weekend? Like, I did it in half a weekend. That's crazy. That's insane. 24 hours, I wrote 10,000 words. So, proud of myself for that. But even more exciting, I finished watching Heated Rivalry, and it fucked me up the way that I thought it would. But it's not hitting me in the same way as, like, the end of, say, Elite Season 3 hit me. And I think that's partially because there are so many cast interviews out there with Hudson and Connor, who play the two main characters. They were, like, it feels like I'm still, like, getting some of that fix, basically, of their, like, relationship, their chemistry together and stuff, and I just really like it. So it's definitely that's kind of helping to, like, stave off the melancholy, I think, a little bit. But it's also making me feel like, you know, I want this. I want that too. Like, I want to be able to, like, there's the parasocial aspect of it, where I want to be friends with them. I want to know them. I want to be, like, in their group. But even that, I've watched enough interviews now to know this is, they don't even live in the same city. So, like, even their friendship that we're seeing on screen in these behind the scenes interviews isn't as, like, as it's portrayed. Like, it's not as, like, they probably, I'm sure, talk sometimes, but they don't hang out. They're not chilling together every day or whatever. But that's, like, kind of what you imagine when you're watching these interviews, is like, oh my God, they just go hang out all the time. Like, I wish I could be part of that. And that doesn't exist. Not only that, their characters don't exist, obviously. So, like, I'm trying to, like, disabuse myself of this notion that there's, like, some perfect relationship out there, because there's not. It doesn't exist. Everything's fake. But then there's this other aspect for me personally, working towards season 2 of Strange Trials, where I'm like, I want that for Strange Trials. I want to see, like, the cast that I have for season 2 come together and, like, you know, have these types of, like, dynamics where, like, it's like, oh, I believe that they are, like, yes, they're cast members that were hired to play a part, but they have their own dynamic, and they actually, like, get along really well as friends, and, like, they want to, you know, hang out outside of, like, doing the show together. And, like, that would be so fucking cool. And I just get, like, really, like, giddy. Like, sometimes I will literally be laying in bed at night, and I'm sorry, I'm talking quietly because I live My parents are sleeping in the next room. So, sorry. But I'm living at home right now, so I can save up money to make season 2 of this podcast where I can do all these things that I want to do. Like, I will lay in bed at night and I will be like fucking kicking my toes, so fucking giddy, thinking about how exciting it's going to be when I get to actually make this show and I get to actually go out there and put it out there and have people experience the story that I've had in my head. Like, I mean, at this point I've sort of moved beyond it because I'm up to season 5 right now, but like, I can't wait to be on set again and just spending days with all these actors, having all these different people, all these people like come together in a way that they would not have come together if the show didn't exist. Like, I love the idea of these people only meeting each other because of the show. I want to bring people together in that way and be there with them as they make it. Like, the options are there for me where I could just be like, hey, let's fucking record this shit on Zoom and I'll just edit all your lines out. I don't want to do that. I want to be on set with everybody. I want to be part of like the experience, and I want to do that. I want to take the vlogs along with me to do that, but I also, want people to, on the other side, experience. I want the audience to experience it and to enjoy it and to feel like they're part of it. I want people to have parasocial relationships with my show. That's what I want. I know people are going to like this show. Well, I hope people are going to like this show, and I hope that somewhere down the road, other people care about my show in the same way that people care about Heated Rivalry, or care about Young Royals, or care about Elite, or care about any sort of like Severance, like any show like that. Not that I'm saying that I want it to be like a #1, like huge, like international hit, like that type of thing. I just want people to care about it. I want there to be some sort of fan base. I want people to want to know what happens. I want people to theorize about it and to like, I'm putting all this thought into it, and I want that to pay off at some point. And so I am sort of constantly struggling with myself, being like, I wish I could go faster. I wish that I could, write faster, have more time to write constantly so that I could have more seasons written, or that I could save up the money faster so that I could make the show this year rather than potentially next year. But then on the flip side of that, I'm like, you know what? I would rather also, though, conversely, take my time and make sure that the story is going to be as good as it can be, so that when it does come out, it fucking hits on every level and people really care about it, and it feels like everything came together the way that the audience would want it to. Late night thoughts, having parasocial relationship with stuff, but also wanting to do it is in some ways inspiring for me, wanting, for someone who's trying to also make something, to see something small, something that was like intended to be some little like tiny little show that the creators were proud of and the actors were proud of, and that's it, for it to take off and become like a phenomenon. That's fucking awesome. And I'm, obviously, like, congrats. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at now. So I'm gonna end it here, and I'll see you in the next video for the rest of chapter 6. But yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble.